This little girl is seriously creepy. Every time she turns her head and catches someone moving, they drop dead on the spot. It's actually a game of red light, green light. And this 10-foot-tall girl is calling the shots. Then out of nowhere, yellow-haired dude just falls over. Everyone thinks he's just playing along, but when someone gets close, they see he's bleeding from his mouth. And this idiot, number 250, gets shot right then and there. Everyone's freaking out. This isn't just a game, it's a fight for survival. People are sprinting and panicking, trying to get away. The little girl is loving it. She's thrilled to see so many rule breakers. She's ready to go all out. The place is completely locked down, with the doors sealed tight. No one can escape. Gunshots and screams are everywhere. Meanwhile, in the control room, the player avatars are turning black. The game's organizer is just sitting back, sipping a drink, and enjoying the chaos. Whatever you do, don't move in this game. Yellow-haired dude is slowly trying to be sneaky, and the little girl shoots him dead. Among everyone here, he's the only one who tried to outsmart her. Everyone else stays perfectly still, facing the slaughter. The game goes on. Is number one a genius or what? He seems to have figured out the rules easily, and everyone else quickly follows his lead. Only Ethan is frozen in fear, not moving at all. Someone behind him shouts out, telling him the game time's almost up, and that even staying still could get him killed. That person is actually Ethan's neighbor, Shane. He tips Ethan off about a trick. The little girl can't see everything, so if you hang out behind someone else, she won't catch your movement. Ethan finally gets up. Even though everyone gets the rules now, staying perfectly still is super hard. Someone always twitches a little and gets blasted. Would you dare to play this game? Big Boss spots someone hiding behind him, using him as a human shield. He's furious and demands, "Who the heck are you?" It turns out it's the thief girl, a thief who used to work for him and got bullied all the time. She grabs his head, ready to get some revenge. Big Boss is scared out of his mind and pleads, "Please don't push me." But she shoves him hard, sending him crashing to the ground. At that moment, Ethan's shield gets shot, so he quickly tries to move. But just as he's about to, Big Boss grabs his leg and begs for help. What's Ethan supposed to do now? This is the hardest game of red light, green light ever. Move and you're dead on the spot. Don't move, and when the time's up, you're still toast. Ethan's leg gets grabbed by someone just as the next round starts. He bolts, and gunshots keep ringing out as players keep getting shot down. But some clever folks are actually making it past the finish line. With 23 seconds left, just as Ethan's about to sprint, he nearly trips. Miraculously, he regains his balance. Turns out, it's Henry behind him who's got his back. Henry's got crazy strength and lifts Ethan with one hand. Ethan almost pees his pants. Finally, the little girl turns her head again. With just 1 second left, Ethan and Henry dive forward and make it across the finish line. The rest of the losers get completely wiped out. Even though the game is over, it's just the first round. Now, the ceiling above them suddenly seals shut. Oh no, they're on a deserted island covered in thick vegetation, so dense even satellites can't see through it. The surviving players head back to the main room, where the game manager announces the results. Out of 456 players, 255 are eliminated, and 201 make it through. And guess what? There are still 5 more death games to come. These people are on their knees, begging the game manager to spare them. Turns out, they had no idea that losing in this game means death. They're all at the bottom of society, drowning in massive debt, and some are even being hunted. Just when they're at their breaking point, they get handed a business card offering a chance to win billions if they join the game. Before the game starts, they all sign agreements without knowing what's coming. But shockingly, half of them are dead by the end of the first round. They're terrified and panicked, and chaos breaks out. The manager quickly pulls out a gun and warns them to settle down. However, unafraid of death, Shane stands up and points out that according to the 3rd clause of their agreement, if more than half the players agree, they can end the game. He asks for a vote. To everyone's surprise, the manager agrees, but warns them to consider how much money they're giving up. Above them, a transparent sphere is constantly dropping cash. Each player represents about 100 million Korean won, and right now, the sphere has a whopping 25.5 billion won in it. The winners of all 6 games will take home all that money. The players start to hesitate, realizing what's at stake. The voting officially begins. Now it's voting time to decide if the death game continues or stops. Hit the circle to keep playing or the X to end it. Even though 255 people are already dead from the first round, some players are still pressing the circle, chasing after that 45.6 billion won prize. The votes are tied, and it's a heated battle. Those who want out can't get why anyone would want to keep going. They're like, don't you all want to live? But the ones wanting to continue argue, I'd rather take a chance and go for it than live like this. With the vote tied at 100 to 100, it all comes down to one last person, player 1. This old man has a brain tumor and only a few months left to live. What's he gonna do? The vote wraps up with a final tally of 101 to end the game. Many people are outraged, shouting that they want to keep playing. The manager responds, "If you want to restart, we can begin again anytime." So, the players get knocked out with tranquilizers and are dumped back on the street. Ethan rushes to the police station, frantic. He's shouting, "We've been kidnapped by masked people and forced to play a game, and over 200 people got killed. If we make it through all 6 games, we'll win 50 billion won." The police are baffled and think Ethan is insane, so they just kick him out. Meanwhile, Ethan's neighbor Shane, who's a top student from Seoul University, gets himself into trouble. He's caught embezzling client funds at a securities firm, causing a 650 million won loss, and now he's wanted by the police. Ethan returns home and finds his mother's feet in terrible shape, possibly needing amputation. She refuses to go to the hospital because she still needs to work to support the family. Ethan feels a wave of shame wash over him and suddenly recalls a few days ago. Ethan's a lazy guy. His wife divorced him and took their kid, leaving him to wallow in his gambling addiction, dreaming of striking it rich overnight. After losing countless bets, he finally wins 4.56 million won. It's his daughter's birthday, and he plans to celebrate. But just as he's about to head out, debt collectors catch up with him. In a desperate escape, Ethan knocks over a young woman. Cornered and with no way out, he's driven to a bathroom. Just as he's about to grab the cash, he realizes it's gone. Turns out, the woman he knocked over is a thief. Ethan gets beaten up by the debt collectors, who then threaten him with a knife, demanding he sign an organ sale agreement. If he doesn't pay up next month, they'll sell his eyes and kidneys. After getting out, Ethan uses his last bit of change to buy some tteokbokki, hoping to at least give his daughter a small birthday treat. Ethan finds out he can actually make money just by getting slapped. While riding the subway, he runs into a guy in a suit who proposes a game. If Ethan can knock over a cup, he wins 100,000 won. If the suit guy knocks it over, Ethan just gets slapped. Ethan thinks it's a sweet deal and jumps in. But weirdly, he keeps losing and ends up getting slapped around dozens of times, leaving his face all puffy. Just when he's about to quit, he finally wins once and grabs the 100,000 won. After the game, the suit guy hands him a business card and says there's a chance to win billions if he joins their game. Ethan, lured by the big prize, hops into the guy's car. But as soon as he gets in, he's knocked out by some smoke and wakes up on this deserted island. Ethan's the last player standing, number 456. In the game, the folks in red outfits and masks are the managers, while everyone else is in green. At first, the players think it's just some kiddie game, but then they find out losing means you're toast. It's like red light, green light with a seriously gruesome twist. Ethan, trying to get money for his mom's treatment, goes to his ex-wife for help, but he ends up getting insulted by her new husband and is told he can't even see his daughter. Furious, Ethan throws a punch and decides to dive back into the deadly game. On the flip side, Shane's on the run, hiding out everywhere. The only thing that might save him is the massive prize money from the death game. This guy's life is a mess. His greedy boss has tons of cash but refuses to pay him. Henry's in a heated argument with the boss when, out of nowhere, the boss's hand gets crushed in a machine. Seeing the chance, Henry grabs the money off the floor and bolts. He sends his wife with the cash back to the Philippines, while he's left with nowhere to go. With no other options, Henry decides to rejoin the death game. Meanwhile, thief girl Ethan ran into earlier is from North Korea. She and her brother have been treated like dirt and have to hand over every penny they steal to Big Boss. She tries to get her parents smuggled out through a broker, but ends up getting scammed out of all her savings. Fuming, she throws coffee in the broker's face, warning him to watch his back if he scams her again. As she leaves, she swipes the broker's wallet, determined to support her brother. She's gearing up to return to the death game. Meanwhile, player 1, the old guy, is itching to get back in the game. He's got a brain tumor and is facing a really lonely end. Over on Big Boss side, things are going south fast. He's been double-crossed by his own crew and now his enemies are coming after him. With his life in jeopardy, he takes out the traitor, runs for his life, and jumps into a river to escape. Needing cash to fix his mess, he decides to rejoin the game too. The game entry routine is the same for everyone. You get knocked out by smoke in the car, and all the vehicles end up at the dock. Just then, a cop shows up. He's investigating his brother's disappearance and found a weird business card in his brother's room. He follows the van here, hides under it, and sneaks onto the island. As everyone wakes up in the same old place, they're all wondering, what on earth are the next 5 deadly games going to be? This show's called Squid Game. If you're digging this video, smash that like button and hit subscribe.